Okay guys, so welcome to this video. First a quick disclaimer. This is only for educational purposes. I'm going to use some certain tools and I'm not paid by these people who write those tools at all, but I'm just using them for the purposes of academic work and productivity and that kind of stuff. And this is in fact the first time I'm going to publish this, and I hope that you'll find it useful. So today it's about drafting and writing academic abstracts. And so what I'm going to use is this tool, and look here. This is the abstract I want to look at. And what are we going to do first? Well, first of all, quick impression, this is quite short, right? In fact, with this tool, you can do word count. Very useful. You can actually look here. You've got this basically, it's like an outliner. You've got an item. If you zoom into the outline, then you have the abstract, and look here, you can see it's 73 words. Well, it's actually not too bad, but it's still a little bit on the short side. I would normally say 100 words, 100 to 150 words might be okay. It all depends. If it's for a thesis, 150 might be fine. If it's for a paper, maybe 100 is fine, but you just really have to be to the point. So the trick is, how can I say all the things that are necessary and still not, not waffle, not write too much. So looking at this, probably we want to see the different sentences, right? I can separate this out like this. It's another sentence. And really what I want to say is in an abstract, we tend to have a structure. So typically the structure would be, let's say, and I call this a template. No, let's call it a container. The context is one thing, and then the contribution is another thing. Contribution. So I would say perhaps 1/3 context, 2/3 contribution. For a paper, maybe for a thesis where you don't actually necessarily have to give novel contributions, maybe 50-50. So let's see what we've got at the moment. So here we've got, let's read this. This research report focused on the importance of privileged access management, which is the most effective and crucial fact that is connected with the security of the organizational system. So that's clearly context. So let's put it into context. The next sentence. In the system of an organization, different types of issues may occur, and to solve those issues, the most effective is the IBM Security Secret Server. That's still context. Let's put it to the context. And now these are the major actors of this proposal. Those are describing here with the appropriate analysis and description. This is probably meant to be a contribution, I'm pretty sure, because otherwise there wouldn't be any. So I think that's probably contribution. Now let's understand, and I might not be in a position to really judge the validity of the IBM Security Secret Server statement. So I'm just going to pretend, and obviously I have to kind of, that these things are all factually correct. And then we're just going to worry about the structure so that it is actually, a good abstract. So what we could do is we could look at the context first. Now in this tool, it's called Dynalist. You can find it on the web. It's a web interface, basically. You can also have the mobile app. But in any way, you can zoom in to context. And now we can just focus on the context. So let's understand what the context actually is. So this research, okay, research probably, I would probably say thesis, I reckon. If it's for an MSc dissertation, that's the context of my my little exercise here, then it's going to be this thesis report. I guess I would use the present tense. Do not use the past, do not use the future, do use the present tense. So this thesis report focuses on the importance of privileged access management. That sounds good to me. It's a valid statement. I probably wouldn't use the speech marks because we come up with, we have to introduce new terminology quite often, and it's probably all right just to do it like that. If you want to be super pedantic, but then you should do this consistently throughout the abstract and ideally as well within your thesis, then you could put it into emphasis. So you could kind of make it italics. So it looks a bit funny in this tool because it basically adds some markup. But as soon as you come out of the item, you will see it written in italics. So it's a kind of emphasis. Yeah, why not? This thesis report, or maybe just the thesis. This thesis focuses on the importance of privileged access management. Yeah, that's a very good start. It continues, which is the most effective and crucial fact that is connected with the security of the organizational system. So what is this saying? It's basically just reiterating that privileged access management is important, that it is effective, that it is crucial, and it somehow is to do with the security of an organizational system. Yeah, so maybe what would we say? We kind of need to convey this, and I would be happy to have it within the next sentence, so to just merge it back somehow. So on the importance of privileged access management, maybe comma, okay, so it's basically, which is something like it's an effective and crucial aspect of security for any organization. Yeah, organizational system, I'm not so sure about that. I would say organization. So I do assess dissertations in the UK, so we typically would expect an S here rather than a Z. Yeah, so okay, so basically which is a crucial. So let's do this together. Which is a crucial, maybe not fact, it's a crucial aspect, right? A crucial aspect. Crucial aspect of, is it a crucial aspect of security, or is it's a security aspect, isn't it? So a crucial, let's drag this, a crucial security aspect of, I think we could say of, potentially of any organization. Oh, maybe it's to do with systems rather than organizations. Maybe it's more technical, probably. So then maybe system is actually better, but I don't quite like organizational system. Maybe system in any organization, which is a crucial security aspect of maybe not any system, but most. Yeah, most systems. Most systems, within maybe a modern organization, I guess. At least you have to have some kind of digital stuff going on. Organization. Full stop. Okay. So we've done this sentence, and once you've done your sentence, what you should do is you should just zoom in, and then you get, if you click outside, then you get the markup to turn into some proper fonts and emphasis. So just to kind of look at this, maybe you could, this is running in a browser. So you can do Control Plus and just kind of enjoy the work you've done on this sentence. Read it once more. This thesis focuses on the importance of privileged access management, which is a crucial security aspect of most systems within, which is a crucial security aspect of most systems within a modern organization. I kind of like it 90%, but I think for now this will be fine. Is it most systems? Is it any system? Is it major systems? I think at this stage, this should be fine. So let's go back to the contents. There's still another sentence. What can we do with that sentence? In the system of an organization, different types of issues may occur. And to solve those issues, the most effective. So this seems to be slightly confusing things. I'm not sure. Let's separate it. I tend to then split it into two sentences. Typically, when you get these prepositions and stuff, then let's just get rid of this and see what we can do. So first question, obviously, to ask: is that still context? Is it still in the same section, you know, in the system of an organization, different types of issues? Yeah, well, that's still context. Let's just slot it in for now. To solve those issues, the most effective is the IBM Security SQL Server. So, okay, so I personally, I mean, I might be an expert in many areas or some areas, but not in all areas. That's impossible. So I'm not exactly sure whether an IBM Security SQL Server exists. Maybe slightly wrong notation. And I could Google it, but I'm not going to do this now. I will just assume it exists. But secret, I would just say, let's assume there is such a thing as an IBM security server. Okay, secret sounds a little bit sort of hiding and almost like, you know, being secretive. But what we want with the computer security is we want open security, we want standards, you know, we want to be completely sort of open with the fact that we're doing security. We don't want to hide anything. Anyway, so what this is saying is this sentence or this sentence fragment is kind of saying that in order to focus and resolve, I guess, problems with privileged access management, in the opinion of the author, the most effective is to use the IBM Security Server. So if you say something like that, then strictly spoken, you would need to add a reference, you know, which basically proves your statement. On the other hand, there is kind of an unwritten rule to not put references into an abstract. So we can't really, I don't really want to put a reference in here. So then I would weaken the statement and not saying the most effective. I would maybe say, you could say an effective, or, you know, one of the most effective ways is, let's say, an effective, yeah, fine. And also, I mean, this one here, this sentence, this part of the sentence does not really say much other than there might be all sorts of different issues. And we've already, I mean, it kind of distracts a little bit and makes, it actually removes the focus, right? And before we had quite nicely talked about privileged access management, which seems kind of, you know, I'm not exactly sure what it actually is right now. We'll see later, hopefully. But it seems to be something, and the different issues is just too general. So if you don't mind, what I'll do is, for now, I'll bring it down, and then what I do is another trick. Never throw anything away. You never know, it might be still useful. Let us create either an inbox or an archive, depending on what we think we might do. So here, I think that probably I will not use it for this abstract, but I might use it later. So let's put it into an archive, okay? And then if that bothers us, let's just move it out of the discussion for now. Let's move it down here. We can close it and forget about it for now, okay? All right, so back to our importance of privileged access management. And what we're kind of saying here is that an effective, you know, in the opinion of the author, an effective solution to, I guess, establishing privileged access management would be to use an IBM security server type thing, okay? So let's make this a proper sentence. So let's maybe say, okay, so in order to solve, and sorry, I've actually deleted this part of the sentence talking about issues. So maybe it was a bit premature here. But maybe we can rescue the situation by saying, in order to, you know, address the security, to reinstate, no, not quite, no. In order to, let's say, address for now, and now we need to know how to spell this. Help, that looks wrong, looks better. Yeah, you should always use a spell checker at the end, but for now I seem to be right. In order to address, okay, so we don't need to say to solve now. So in order to address this, yeah, I'm a bit stuck here. You know, I mean, I never said I know everything straight away. I quite often get it wrong. But obviously the trick is to recover eventually from your mistakes. So if you get stuck, basically be honest. Tell yourself, okay, I am stuck, and do something else and come back to it. And that's the perfect environment to do this actually with this tool here, with Dynalist. We zoom out and actually now look at the contribution. So we've got this in the back of our heads, you know, there's some importance of the privilege management, privilege access management, and perhaps using a tool, an IBM tool. But what do you actually want to do in the thesis? So presumably we want to talk about this very task in terms of analysis and description. And then, this is where, in my opinion, this is a little bit weak. It doesn't quite tell us yet what should actually happen. Fair enough, it might be too early, might be early days. I'm more than happy to draft an abstract for a paper of mine if I'm just really enthused by, let's say, the context, and I believe I will really do a big contribution here, but I haven't quite worked out yet the precise nature of the contribution, then fine. So here the author is intending to make a contribution in terms of analysis and description of using IBM security servers in order to manage, you know, privilege access within a modern organization. That's what it seems to be, isn't it? So well, look here, so we actually have our abstract already pretty much in our head. We just haven't written it down, and it's not perhaps completely to the point, and it's a little bit weak. So maybe we can strengthen it as we go along, maybe. So let's look at the contribution then again. Yeah, I think we need to do something here. So I like the appropriate analysis, although I don't really like appropriate, because why do we say appropriate? We only would say appropriate if for some reason there's an option between appropriate and inappropriate, but honestly, I will not really would want an inappropriate abstract or methodology or anything. So I think it's analysis and description. So description, probably maybe documentation, because a description sounds a little bit vague, but a documentation is a good thing. A documentation is done by an expert. They know exactly how to use a tool such as the IBM security server, and documenting this to an audience of laymen or, you know, other potential users would be a great thing. That would be a very nice contribution. In fact, here in the context of a dissertation, that would be great. So documentation is one thing. Analysis, we do like analysis, but normally we need to know what we actually analyze. So we would analyze some data, or we would analyze a scenario. So if you want to analyze something, then I guess you would want to install actually the IBM security server. I would hope that you are in a position to do that, you know, and then you need to analyze somehow the process or the results, and then at the same time document how you went along and maybe, you know, what you get out of it. So these are potential contributions, certainly. So what we're going to do now, we're still a bit stuck with the context, and we're still a bit stuck with the rest. So time to think, I guess. Okay, so I've been able to do some thinking, luckily. And so what I think is in terms of the contribution, let's maybe start here. So typically what you do is when you write your contribution, you would say, in this thesis, and now I'm realizing that here we wrote this thesis. So really saying this thesis is not so much context. It's kind of a combination of context and, well, it kind of is. But obviously we're not going to have this thesis focuses and these in this thesis. I think it's a little bit too much. So what can we do is we can take this thesis away from here. But then we have to rewrite quite a lot. So maybe we leave it. Yeah, okay, let's leave it for now. Come back to it one last time at the end. So typically you start your contribution by saying in this thesis, comma, and then you've got a choice between we, although we is normally for a kind of joint publication of several authors, or maybe just a proper sort of research type paper. It's not so much a thesis thing. You could say the author, or you could solve this dilemma by not even mentioning any subject, and you just keep it passively by saying in this thesis, comma, a something is done. So perhaps a report. You can never get it wrong because reporting just means to tell. So clearly a thesis is a report. A report on da 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 dum is made. Okay, so what is a report on? It's going to be somehow on the IBM security server, presumably, in terms of analyzing and documenting stuff. So probably, and that's what I think would be a good contribution, is to actually simply talk about using this tool in order to help with the security, isn't it? So perhaps in this thesis, a report on using the IBM security server. Yeah, hopefully it exists. I keep saying that. IBM security server is given. Okay, so a report is given. We need to say something more. That's not enough. And this is where maybe, we need to pick up on analysis and documentation. That's all good. And I did make some notes just earlier to think this through. What are we going to document? Well, the things that are difficult to do normally is to do the how to, how can we actually do this? How can we install it? Where can we find it? So it's to document, yeah, let's use it as a verb. It's an action word to document the installation and use or deployment or something like that. And I think that's the first thing, really, the first step. And then later we can reflect on this, we can analyze it and sort of tell people about the advantages, the disadvantages, So it's going to be an analysis of the resulting benefits, I guess, hopefully. Benefits. And I guess we should always discuss the limitations as well, but that's kind of self-understood. That's what you do in your conclusion. So I don't think we would have to actually put it in the abstract. Okay, so time now to put this all together, hopefully. In this thesis, so contribution, let's focus on contribution. In this thesis, okay, let's have that first. Let's put this down a little bit because I'm still a bit confused about the actual. I mean, proposal, that was probably the stage of the abstract, which was probably done for the actual research proposal. That's fine. But the actor typically would be a party somehow, it would be in a different context. It wouldn't be for the dissertation. I think it's sort of, I think what you probably mean here is an ingredient. So, and it's basically still saying description, isn't it? And what I said is description is a little bit weak, didn't I? So document is better. So I think this is basically what I think I have understood what we actually want to do here. So in this thesis, a report on using the IBM security server is given. I'm still not 100% happy with it, the word given, but never mind. So let's stay in this passive style. And apologies, we're going back to documentation. If we didn't have this before, maybe not. A documentation of the installation process, maybe, because it might be a lengthy thing, and that makes it worthwhile to actually document. If it was really easy, then you can't really document much. A documentation of the installation process and the use of this tool. Okay, the use of this tool, including the next thing, right? Including an analysis, I guess, an analysis of resulting benefits, and somehow something else would be quite nice. Not sure what is provided, perhaps provided. Okay, so there are a couple of words I'm still not so happy with, but on the other hand, I think we've got a skeleton abstract here. So sometimes it helps then to actually get rid of the templates, the structure. So let's just merge it simply. It's very easy to merge these bullets because what you do is you go on the penultimate one and you press backspace, it merges them together, and then you can drag them up carefully, this one as well, and we can get rid of the templates now. We keep the archive. So I'm not going to merge those two bullets yet because I still want to see whether there's something else we can do. Look here, we've got 86 words now. It's a bit more than before, isn't it? So you should aim for at least 100, but we might not be able to do this now. Since we had this nice italics here, we might as well continue this. Yeah, I just delete those quotes, double quotes. I think we just want to maybe put it into italics. It's unusual to put a tool into italics, but for now, we just kind of maybe making a point that it's a good practice to have emphasis in our write-up to make it standing out and attracting the attention and hence helping the reader. We always want to help the reader. We don't want to obstruct, right? Academic writing is difficult enough to read and it's horribly difficult to actually create. So the more we help the reader with cues like emphasis or just a good structure, because the good structure will help, the better it is. Okay, shall we read it once more? Maybe that helps. This thesis focuses on the importance of privileged access management, which is a crucial security aspect. Still don't quite like it. Which is a crucial security aspect of most systems. I think I'm not native English, so I might make some mistakes here. Please don't blame me, and later if you do want to comment on this video, by all means, let's do it. I will enable comments, but please be constructive, right? Be professional, otherwise I will have to disable comments. Or worst case would be if I have to delete the video, which I don't want to do because it's kind of exciting to actually do this. But I'm fully aware of all the little niggling issues with this video and perhaps some mistakes I make, but never mind. It's meant to be helpful, which is a crucial security aspect. Yeah, it's not true that this is the case for most systems. Of course, only if the system is somehow to do with access management. So it needs to say which is a crucial security aspect of many systems. Yeah, of many systems within modern organizations. Let's keep it generic. Okay. In order to address, so what we want to address is the privilege access management, right? So those issues isn't the right thing to say. We could say in order to address this, let's say this. It has to be this because we've referred to it just a couple of words away. And it's one issue. And I don't really actually like the word issue itself because it's very generic and it seems to be a little bit overused. But for now, we're creating something here which I would be happy sort of 80%. You know, if I would read it, if it's a student abstract or someone else's abstract and I had to kind of mark it, I would probably say, yeah, great. A little bit terse perhaps, but otherwise good. But if I would write it for myself, I would apply higher standards. I would probably chew on this a bit longer. I probably would continue tomorrow because it gets a bit, it gets tiring, doesn't it? We're half an hour into this video, so we gotta stop soon, right? So in order to address this issue, comma, an effective tool is the IBM security server. Fine, good. Context, background. Now, contribution in this thesis, comma, I report on using, I wouldn't say simply just say using IBM security server, right? We're not saying I'm using the Google Chrome or I'm using the Internet Explorer. We're saying I'm using Internet Explorer. So a report on using IBM security server is given. A documentation of the installation process and the use of this tool, comma, including analysis of resulting benefits and okay, let's say limitations for now, because I can't really think of anything else, is provided. Yeah, I think that's good to go. Let's merge it. We need one space. Sometimes people put two spaces. There seems to be a UK thing, but I'm personally not so fond on it. So if we zoom in, and now this is our abstract. Look at this. It's 70 words. It's almost like before, isn't it? I believe. But I think that is a nice abstract, and I hope that's been helpful. So thanks a lot for watching. Bye.